I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2415, How I Almost Committed Financial Suicide by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. Welcome to Optimal Finance Daily, the show where I read to you from some of the best money and finance blogs on the web each and every day of the week. So let's hear today's post and start optimizing your life. How I Almost Committed Financial Suicide by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. About 6 months ago, I had myself convinced we needed to buy a big, beautiful suburban home to validate our lives and prove to the world that we were successful. What a difference 6 months can make. My fiance and I had decided on a whim to start looking at houses. We knew that sometime in the distant future, we wanted to upgrade to more living space. We thought this would be tons of fun. We still have no idea how that whim quickly turned into a serious house search. I suppose it's our fault for reaching out to a realtor to show us a property. Before we knew it, we were signing agreements to work only with that realtor and looking at a few properties each week. After a few months, we found a home that we loved. We were pre-approved for a ridiculously high mortgage and went back and forth with the sellers to agree on a price. Interestingly, our price point of no more than $300,000 during our search turned into an agreement price of $412,000 on the final contract. How we went from no more than $300,000 to over $400,000 is still beyond me. Not only was the purchase price high, but the taxes were approaching 5 digits per year. The next few months were exciting. We began finalizing our mortgage documents, had our home inspection, and even started planning the improvements we wanted to make. Yes, we agreed to pay top dollar for a house that needed a ton of updates. I estimate that we would have ended up spending a total of $500,000 to purchase and modernize this home. We would have been upside down on the home almost immediately after possession. Can you say stupid? Mold. The home, despite not being updated, was in great condition and the owners were meticulous in caring for it. They built the home and lived in it for 25 years. Unbeknownst to us or the sellers, there was mold in the attic. Our inspector found the attic dripping with condensation during the home inspection. There was so much snow the day of our inspection, we couldn't even make it. We had to rely on the inspector to do the job on his own. I was so bummed. I was counting on having that day to take a ton of pictures of every nook and cranny. Did I mention we didn't go back to see the house a second time before making our offer? Because of this, I was extremely excited to see the house we already bought again so that I could take more pictures. See how irrational this decision was? Who buys an expensive house before going back to see it a second time? Apparently me. Okay, back to the dripping attic part. Our inspector couldn't believe his eyes. He was so impressed with this home and how solid it was, he couldn't believe it was essentially raining in the attic. As it turns out, the owners replaced the roof a few years ago, and the new ridge vent was too small for the home. So weather permitting, the attic turned into a rainforest. Fortunately, we had the perfect weather conditions the day of our inspection, or it could have gone undetected. And I could be working a second job right now to cover the mortgage and expenses. The owners were notified and vowed to address every item on the inspection list. Short of having the entire roof replaced, they added a humidity sensor and a fan to the attic and replaced copious amounts of wood and drywall. They really did love their home. Heart palpitations. As we inched closer and closer to the settlement, I started to realize how much money we were going to be shelling out each month for basic living expenses. Oh my God. Why didn't we go over everything with a fine-tooth comb before now? We are sitting fine financially, but my fiance has a career with variable income. In addition, because his career is project-based, his income is not only fluid in amount, but also fluid in terms of pay schedule. Bottom line, he gets paid in chunks that don't follow a set predictable pattern. He certainly doesn't get the standard bi-weekly paycheck that my company adheres to. What if we needed to go longer than expected before he gets another chunk? We can dip into our savings, right? Right, no sweat. We can cut back on luxuries, utilities, and necessities, right? Right, no sweat. Except I was sweating. I was soaking the sheets every night. I was having heart palpitations. This is no joke. I was so anxious about this house that we thought we wanted and definitely couldn't afford comfortably that my mind was waging war on my body. I was suffering physically and emotionally over this soon-to-be dumb decision. What had we done? One day, the skies opened up and the birds started singing. Despite having installed the humidity fan and replacing a ton of drywall, the air quality in the kitchen was still not showing acceptable levels. We jumped on this and ran. There were still mold spores being recovered in the kitchen. Sorry, I was so excited I needed to say it twice. Who would agree to still purchase a home under those conditions? No one. We can't be blamed. They can't be blamed. It was the perfect out for us. Present day. My actual house is small and isn't flashy, but it's affordable and I can crank the heat up and the AC down and not worry about being able to afford the bill. It's on a great piece of property and I can easily make upgrades and make it more flashy if I chose to do so. It makes much more financial sense than paying for my financial coffin each month. I wake up every day feeling relieved that we never had to pull the trigger on that other home. I thank those glorious microscopic creatures for saving my financial on this one. And my heart health has dramatically improved too. You just listened to the post titled, How I Almost Committed Financial Suicide by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
This article reminded me of a post I recently saw in a F.I.R.E Facebook group. The poster had a dilemma. They recently got a new boss that was making their life miserable, and they didn't feel like they could tolerate it long enough to find another job. Despite the fact that their family was bringing in $200,000 of household income, they just bought a new house that they could barely afford. They were asking the group if they should quit now and tap into their retirement savings or suck it up until they found a new job. All of the comments encouraged the poster to suck it up, but also learn from the mistake. They admitted themselves if they would have stayed in their previous less expensive home, they wouldn't have had this problem. High fixed costs, especially when it comes to your housing, can trap you. This is what Mr. Money Mustache means when he says that luxury is a weakness. When your expenses are low and easily met, you have a lot more options to navigate what life throws at you. And remember, just because a bank is willing to give you a mortgage for a certain amount doesn't mean that you can comfortably afford that mortgage payment. That should do it for today. Thank you for being a subscriber to the show. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.